Welcome to our lesson about Inventor's Content Center. The Content Center libraries are collections of table data containing definitions for how to create nearly 1 million standard parts and features. The Content Center libraries cover many international standards. You choose to install the Content Center at the time of installation of the software. In a nutshell, the Content Center works like this. You select components from these databases and place them into your design or assembly. In this lesson, we'll learn how the Content Center is organized and how to bring a Content Center part or feature into your work. Let's go to the project editor. And let's expand the Folder Options branch. Here you can see where Content Center files are stored for the active project. When you set up your project, you can specify a Content Center location that overrides the settings in the Application Options dialog window. Let's go to the File tab. Here we show the default location for the Content Center files. There is one stipulation. The Content Center can't be located in the same path as your main project data. Because there's so much to choose from, you are able to select which libraries you need to use. Let's launch the project editor, Content Center Configuration. This launches the Configure Libraries dialog window so we can edit the configuration to specify which Content Center content is available. The fewer libraries in use, the less load on your CPU. Currently, we've got a number of libraries in use, and these are based upon several common international standards. You may not be familiar with some of these. ANSI, or ANSI, is the American National Standards Institute. DIN, this is Germany's ISO member body, the Deutsches Institut für Normung. Next, we've got a library of inventor features like slots, arcs, and cones. ISO is the International Organization for Standardization. JIS is the Japanese Industrial Standards, Globe Valve. Some mold design standards. Inventor Parker, this contains parts used by Parker for tube and pipe fittings. Inventor Routed Systems, cable and harness and tube and pipe standard components. And let's scroll down a bit. Inventor Sheet Metal, this contains PM brand fasteners, etc. Here's my libraries, and the last is my read-write library. We configured that in our last lesson. I probably wouldn't need to access all these standards at once, so to speed up searching, I can just remove what I don't need. And I can easily add it later on with a reinstall if I need it. This link near the top of the window takes us to the Windows Explorer folder where the library files are stored. Remember, we can't change that path from this interface. Working with the Content Center as a standalone user is not a problem. As in my case, libraries are saved locally on my hard drive. You can also use them as a member of a workgroup, for example, if they're shared on a network server. The default Inventor Content Center libraries are read-only. They can't be edited. You don't change the read-only status either. But you can create your own read-write libraries like I've done, where you bring in Content Center parts and to which you publish your edits. Let's cancel out of this configuration window and the project editor as well. Let's go to the Tools tab, Content Center panel, and click on Editor. The Content Center editor launches. I can see a lot of parts, but they are all grayed out. That's because the part only exists as a definition in a database table. In order to actually use the part, I need to place it into a part document or assembly or into my local library. Let's close the Content Center editor for now. Now we're going to learn how to place a feature in a part file. Let's create a new part file. Click New on the Quick Access toolbar. Select Part. Let's exit the active sketch. And now let's go to the Model tab. Insert panel. Feature. The Place Feature from Content Center dialog window opens. This takes us to Inventor's library of standard features. They're not standardized parts like screws, etc. Let's double-click to select this cone. A Parameters window appears where I can input dimensions like diameter and height. Let's click OK. Note the status bar. We're prompted now to select a work plane. Let's expand the Origin folder in the browser pane and click on the XY plane to select it. Now right-click and Done in the graphic area. And here is our inserted feature. Here's our new feature in the browser. It appears here as Cone 1. The cone was created via an extrusion feature, and double-clicking on Cone 1 takes us to the Edit Extrude window. Let's cancel out of this window, and let's expand Cone 1 to see its dependents. Double-click on Sketch 2 to activate it. Now we can modify parameters of the foundation sketch, like the diameter of this circle. Let's finish the sketch. We can also open a part from the Application menu. Click on Open. Now open from Content Center. Inventor processes our request, and the Open from Content Center dialog window opens. Let's select a fastener, nuts, and let's work with a wing nut. We double-click on this item. Now we're prompted for thread standard and type specifications. The Table View tab gives us additional standard measurements for this part to choose from, family naming and standard information, and let's click OK. Inventor processes our request, and here is our wing nut. Let's close this part, and now let's take a look at how we can place a component from the Content Center into an assembly. We're on the Assemble tab. Click the submenu arrow for the Place command and select Place from Content Center. The Place from Content Center dialog window appears. Let's expand the Fasteners node. I'm going to select Hex Head. Now I'll double-click the hex bolt, inches, and first thing here, I look for the edge of the hole. When a green check mark appears, I left-click to place the bolt. A few options appear in the Auto Drop palette. Change size, specify bolted connection, accept the placement. This option finishes the component insertion and leaves the component ready for a second insertion if you left-click again in the graphic area. Last option is a Place and Close Auto Drop. This will accept your current placement but close the Auto Drop tool. Let's click the green check mark, Accept. Now we're prompted to specify the thread size. Click OK. And my first bolt is in place. Let's look for the second edge for the middle hole. When you see the green check mark, left-click. Let's accept. And now we're prompted to specify the thread. OK. Now let's place our third bolt. However, when I hover looking for the green check mark, I get an X instead and the bolt appears in red. Let me see what the problem is. I'm going to left-click. That places it anyway. And then I'll select Change Size. And now I see what's happened here. My hole is 1/8 of an inch, but the smallest diameter of the bolt available for this particular standard is 1/4 of an inch. Basically, I don't have the correct bolt for this size. Let's cancel out of this specification window. And let's delete that last fastener. Right-click and select Delete. And this concludes our introduction to the AutoDesk Inventor Content Center.